Welcome from the Netherlands, from the Home Computer Museum in Helmond. I'm also speaking on behalf of the Dutch Akker User Club. And as already said, we are here with Bas Verhoeven, he is on the back of the camera. And Peter Dost, he is the chairman of the Big Ben Club here in the Netherlands. And I would really welcome Bart van der Akker. Bart, welcome. Can you tell us something about the Home Computer Museum in the Netherlands and yourself, please?
Yeah, sure. Well, my name is Bart van den Akker. I'm 38 years old. Some people want to know that. And I started this museum in 2018 to be an interactive computer museum. Meaning that all computers we have over here are actually on and usable. And that makes us pretty unique. We have nearly 300 computers working here daily from 1977 onward till 2005, and basically everything in that era of computers we have running here, and you can play with it.
Well, thank you very much. Can you perhaps tell us something more about your collection of Akker computers?
Yeah, personally I don't have much with Akker itself. I'm a Tandy guy. Sorry about that. But we do have some really cool Akker machines over here. Well, as you can see, maybe in the back you see the Electron, we have the Atom in multiple forms, the Color Atom, well, it's Atom with the color card. We have the BBCs, obviously. We have a RISC PC, we have an Akker A3000, and yeah, we do have a lot of Akker stuff lying around. But yeah, our biggest piece of Akker, at least, is our Akker System 1, which we have right here on the table. And I hope you can show it. It's actually on, so there you go. This is the Akker System 1.
Yeah, I understood that it was a quite interesting history how you got the System 1 and the MK14 board.
Yeah, oh yeah, we have the MK14 as well. So I know you don't like that usually, so I can throw it away, right? Anyway, yes. Both boards are given to us by a guy who just mailed me out of the blue, saying I have these boards. Do you know what the value is of it? And in all honesty, I never heard of it, so I just said whatever a madman will pay for it. So I never knew it was so valuable. And so I spoke to the guy, and he was like, yeah, I don't know, I don't want to sell it. I just, you know, you can have it, it's fine. I'm like, okay, thank you. So in the period that he mailed me and that I finally got it, I looked it up and I found out that this is quite some interesting piece, which he gave to me. So when I finally got it in my hands, I said, "How did you get these pieces?" And he told me about it. He said, "I went to a second-hand market, and by the end of the day, there was a big bin with all these electronics in. They were going to throw it away, and all these electronics." There was these strange boards were in there, so I picked them out just to take them home because I found they were quite interesting. So, and he had those boards, the Sinclair MK14 and the Akker System 1, and he kept them for a while. And then he mailed me, I don't know what to do with it. Do you want to have it? So, here you have it. This Akker System 1 and the MK14.
Oh, so that means. Yeah, very unique computer boards were basically saved for the future here.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, we have switches on, as you could already see. We tried to type in the code on the Stardot forum, but unfortunately that didn't work out too well. Unfortunately, we cannot show you a running system one.
It is working.
Yeah,
it is working.
It is working, but I think we should completely clean all the keys. We had a little bit, too short notice. But imagine the people want to visit from abroad the Home Computer Museum. Is it good reachable by public transport?
Yeah. That's actually one of the biggest selling points of us. We are very close to Eindhoven Airport. It's a 40-minute drive by car from Eindhoven Airport. We are also close to Düsseldorf, which is approximately 45-minute drive. We are easily reachable by train. We are located in the city center, so we just go to Helmond Center Central Station, and it's a 5-minute walk from there. Buses are also coming here, so there's really no reason why you shouldn't visit. We have 1,090 square meters, which is a lot in square feet. I don't know. You find it on the internet. And we, as I said, we have nearly 300 computers which are on every day. Right now you have to reserve due to the corona thing. We are actually open for 1 week now. Last Monday we opened for the first time for public. And now you have to make a reservation beforehand before you can actually enter the building. But it's okay if you just come in and accidentally, and we'll just fine. Okay, you can come in. Other than that, we have nearly every computer you can imagine. We have also these special setups. I don't know if you can maybe show it, but probably not.
Yeah, Bas is now showing
the Commodore 64.
The Commodore corner. I think we have reached the point where people can ask questions. So if you have a question to Bart or from the Home Computer Museum or to the Dutch Akker User Club, then this is your moment. I don't hear anything anymore. So we had a good story, Bart.
Yeah.
Well, then I would say we give the control back to the host.
I'm sure we could think of questions given a couple of seconds.
Do you have Do you have an Apple GS there at all?
No, the Akker GS I don't have. Sorry.
Yeah, quite rare now, aren't there, those GS? Yeah. I'm sorry. How many computers have you got in your museum?
The currently active computers is nearly 300. And computers back in storage and in repair and in boxes are, I don't know. Probably last time I counted it's around 2,000, but that's been a few months ago.
All right, thanks.
You're welcome.
Any more questions to Bart or to Peter or?
Do you happen to have a Comex 35, which were, I believe, quite popular over there?
Yeah, well, we don't have the 35, but we have the PC1, the Comex PC1, in a box, and it's working. It's probably now on camera as well.
Yeah, it's a little bit hard to see.
It's behind the big pillar.
So please come and visit Helmond, I would say.
Yeah. I've got a random question. Aside from early, I suppose across the range of sort of microcomputers, desktop computers, have you got also in your collection or storage anything more sort of vintage and large, such as mini computers or mainframes?
We have we do have a few business computers, as you may say. We don't have mini computers. Yeah, the only thing we do have is an Alta 8800. That's a mini computer. And the business machines, we have things like the STDES, Holborn. We have the Tandy TRS 80, Model 2, Model 16. You could call the Philips machines. We have a few Philips machines which are business-wise, despite we're being a home computer museum. For us, a home computer is a computer where you can play games on. So technically, all CP/M computers can be considered a home computer, but yeah, some of them are not really home computers in any way. I mean, we have Silicon Graphic machines, the Silicon Graphic Indigo 2, which is in no way a home computer because you pay $139,000 back in the day. So nobody had that at home. I can't imagine that somebody bought Indigo 2 for pleasure. And Next computer, we have a Next Cube, the Next Station, yeah, those two we have as well, which are also not really home computers, but...
Do you have a favorite computer?
Do I have? Of course I have a favorite computer. No, of course I would say Acorn, but I'll be lying. No, joking. My personal favorite, yeah, I have a lot of favorite computers. I really like the Amigas. The Amiga 600 was my first Amiga, which also kind of started my collecting. The Philips P2000C, which is a lovely machine. It's a portable, luggable machine with a Z80 card and an Intel 8088. So it can run CP/M and it can run DOS. And the Tandy TRS-80 Color Computer 3 is, I think, my favorite. My first computer was a Tandy TRS-80 Color Computer 2. The Color Computer 2 was my very first computer. And when I started collecting, I found out that there was a Color Computer 3. And the Color Computer 3 was, when I got that one, I was really happy that I finally got the ultimate color computer that I always wanted. Still, it's quite a boring machine compared to an Amiga or, yeah.
Right, interesting.
Another question for you. So, with all those old computers that you have, do you have how do you go about having any repairs or maintenance done? Do you have volunteers or staff?
We currently have around 30 volunteers. And some of them are really into soldering. We do our own repairs, including monitor repairs, CRT monitor repairs. We do it all by ourselves. And we barely have something breaking because we're an interactive museum. So all computers are actually on every day. And the problem is with most old computers, when they are off, when they are stored somewhere in storage, then the problems will start. The batteries will leak. The biggest problem is the hard drives at the moment. The old MFM hard drives, which is really annoying to get them back up and running. A lot of oil and WD-40, that usually works. And then we can keep it up and running, but we are looking into solutions for that, so XT IDE solutions and SD cards. We have a few computers which use XD cards and USB sticks because it's quite useless to have all these slow cassette recorders showing demos, and yeah, it takes us about 20 minutes to power on everything. And then if you also add the time to load all these programs, it's ridiculously, so we don't do that. We actually use SD card solutions when it's reasonable to use. But Commodore 64 has SD cards.
Yeah, we have one question actually for this group. We were wondering if somebody knows how many Systems 1 there are in the world still alive. So if anybody could answer that question.
Anyone? It'll probably be quite tough to know how many are around and working.
Yeah.
Several in the forum do have one, and we have at least one museum in the UK that also has one.
Cambridge.
I think Cambridge have two, don't they? They have a working one and a kit as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we have one in the Dutch User Club who has one also, and Bart was thinking 10 or so.
Yeah, 10 or so. That's what I found out when I was researching 2 years ago. There were apparently about 10 in the world left, so not sure.
Wow. We were wondering, we don't know if you've got the means with the camera, would it be possible for to wander around the museum with the camera to show us all the wonderful machines you have?
Well, unfortunately not, because the cable is simply not long enough to show you the entire museum. But what we can do is, Bart is...
Ik kan wel even wat inzoomen.
Yeah, Bas is trying to zoom in, but we have to be very careful. Yeah, we now look, I think, to the Apple machines.
Yes, that's.
Bart can perhaps tell something about it.
We have. You see probably the Apple Lisa over there. That's the first Apple Lisa ever came to Dutch soil. So that's really the very first Apple Lisa. It started its life as an Apple Lisa 1. Next to it there's an Apple 3, which is also pretty rare nowadays to have an Apple 3. We still have to fix it because one of the problems the Apple 3 has is that it will lose connection to the chips, and this is probably with that one as well. Yeah, the rest on the left side, it's most in the beginning you see a few Ataris. We have an Atari 1200 XL, 65 XE, and there's a 1040, I think. I can actually pick up some machines. If, I'm wireless, so I can do that.
Yeah. Well, Bart is going to take
I'm wireless
right now.
I'm going to pick up machines.
Bart is going with some machines.
This is Atari 1200 XL, which is also not much sold, as far as I know. Oh, this is quite heavy with one hand. The Atari 260 ST, which only came out in Germany, I think. It's basically a very low memory 1040. Nothing special about it, really. We've tried to fix the colors here, but not really. It's dirty. Let me think. Oh right, we have this weird machine. You can open it. It's fine.
Yeah, Bart was telling us that was quite a rare machine, but perhaps you can tell it yourself.
Yeah, it's a rare machine. It's apparently the competitor to ZX Spectrum. That was the intention of this machine. And for its time when it was announced in 1983, it was quite special. It had much colors. It has a 16-bit processor inside, I think, a lot of memory. But it only came out in 1985, which was a little bit too late. So it wasn't a big success when it was finally on the market. And most of them went to Hungary. Only 20,000 of these machines were made. And I know Cambridge has one as well, the Enterprise 64, and we have an Enterprise 128, which has double the size of memory. Yeah. So weird.
Nice looking machines. All computers, aren't they?
Yeah.
The die. Yeah, Bas is trying to point at the die computer right now. And Bart is now looking, walking to it.
This is, there you go. This is the die.
Perhaps
This is a Belgium computer. It's made in Belgium, and it was originally intended for a course. They chose, and BBC came a year later. BBC also went for courses, and they chose, as you know, the BBC computer. But the Dutch were first. The Dutch Teleac was first with a course with a computer, and that was this computer. At least they intended to be this computer, but only 1,000 were produced of these for the course, and then they went for the XD Sorcerer machine. There's a whole, it's quite an impressive machine. It has an Intel 8080 CPU, it's 48K of memory, it can display I think 64 colors, and it has a 3-voiced sound. So it's really a capable machine for its time, but yeah, they couldn't deliver. They had a fight with Texas Instruments basically, and they have something with the power supply, which is also a reason why this machine never made it to a big success. But it's actually it's a very rare machine. Even in the Netherlands or in Belgium, they are really hard to find. And as far as we know, we are the only one with a disk drive interface. The original disk drive for the die. So, and over there you can, next to the die in the back here, there's the original Tandy 1000. The very first Tandy 1000 ever made, which was Tandy's answer to the IBM PC Junior. But the IBM PC Junior never was a big success, and Tandy chose, okay, let's do it anyway and make it the Tandy 1000. And they fixed all the problems with the IBM PC Junior, like the wireless keyboard, and it's all fixed in this machine because this machine doesn't have wireless. And it's a very capable, it's a very nice machine, the Tandy 1000. It's actually the one reason Tandy survived until the 1990s, the Tandy 1000. And next to it there's a Tandy 2000, a big case, and that was a failure because that was Tandy's first try to make an IBM PC compatible. So they chose that 186 CPU, and yeah, that wasn't a big success. No.
Perhaps you can also walk through the whole board, which is, I think, also quite a special computer.
Yeah. Can we reach that with the cables? That's the biggest. Yeah, we have a Dutch computer as well. I can pick this up. There you go. Another a Dutch computer over here. The very first Tulip computer. This wasn't an IBM PC compatible, but they used the IBM to kind of match. This one was released in the Netherlands 1 month before the IBM personal computer entered the Dutch market. But it isn't an IBM PC compatible. It came out with CP/M. That was the first operating system for this one. And eventually they made a DOS version as well that was for this machine, but yeah, wasn't a big success. But it's the first Tulip computer, so it's Dutch. Speaking of Dutch, let's try the Holborn. That's quite some interesting story.
I think Bas just has to put the camera back on the floor because we'll not reach it with the cables. So, but Bart can walk towards the computer. It's no problem.
I can also stay here because I can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Holborn. That's a company that was found in 1979, and it went bankrupt in 1983. The reason they made it was to make cheaper business computers. IBM was still the big leader of the business computer world at that time, and they just wanted a computer that was different. And it's kind of hard to see, but it looks like ET. The whole computer looks like ET. The first computer was the 9120. That was the first computer, which was a server and terminals. And they run their own operating system called Holborn Operating System. And it wasn't compatible, but the thing was they made it especially for companies. So you can just buy, you're a dentist and you want to have a computer, and they will make your computer match your needs. That was the intention of Holborn. But they chose in 81, they figured that probably it's better to run CPM because they would have more capabilities with software. And this computer was released, the Holborn 6100, running CPM. It can run CPM. Only 200 were made, and then the company went bankrupt. They couldn't compete with IBM. IBM just released the IBM PC, and it was way cheaper than the Holborn, and the company went down. Only 200 of these machines are produced. It's actually not the rarest machine I have over here, which is even the Acorn System 1 is not the rarest machine I have. I have a machine over here which you can't see, but you have to believe me, I do have it. We have the Amiga 4000 that was used for the movie Titanic. You can find it on YouTube. The Retro Recipes made a YouTube video about it. Oh, I'm going to... there I am. Hello! Retro Recipes made a video out of it, and they found an Amiga 4000, and that Amiga 4000, when they thought it was used for True Lies and Apollo 13, but when they looked into the hard drive, they found images and pieces of the movie Titanic. And then the owner remembered that this was actually used at that set, at the movie set of Titanic. And the machine was utterly broken, but it got to the Netherlands, and then it got to me, and now it's in a showcase over here. It's actually the original one. It looks very dirty, but we keep it that way because that's Stardust, real stars. Speaking of stars, we also have an Amiga 2000, or 2500 even, and that was used by NASA. We have proof that it was actually used by NASA, and I think those were the two rarest machines we have over here.
Yes, I read the question in the chat, and that went about the Holborn, and one of the persons said it needs a blinking eye. Can you tell us something about the state of the Holborn machine?
The current state of the Holborn machine, it's dead. We don't know what's wrong with it, but we tried. The power supply was fine. Everything works. We found that the Z80 CPU is running, but we couldn't get any picture on the monitor or on this its RS-232 interface. There's no output at all. But yeah, we have all documentation of Holborn. We have including we even have contracts for Holborn. We have all that documentation, and we probably get it back running at some point, but it will take a while.